Hi, I'm a Possum and I find garbage. Today's garbage is Jurassic World Dominion. Now, the only reason I saw this movie in the theater is because one of my sister's friends wanted to see it and they invited me. I really had no interest, not after seeing Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. But it turns out Dominion is actually better than Fallen Kingdom, but that's not saying much. Fallen Kingdom was like a Sci-Fi Channel original movie with a bigger budget, so that's a low bar. Anyway, this review is going to be full of spoilers, so if you just want my rating, 4 out of 10. Wait till it comes to a streaming service or something. Anyway, here we go. Blue, the raptor from the previous movies, is barely in this one, so if you have some emotional attachment to that character for some reason, you'll be disappointed to find out that she's only in a handful of scenes at the beginning and end. Replacing her for most of the movie is her son, Beta. Yes, that's actually what they called him. Now, the movie could have easily been written in such a way that Blue filled the role of Beta, but I guess some marketing executive at Universal decided they needed to replace Blue with a smaller, cuter baby dinosaur for merchandising reasons. See, even when you're a CGI dinosaur, there's still no place in show business for an aging woman. Okay, so the movie starts with Owen and Claire taking care of stupid clone girl from the last movie, who's 14 now, as they hide out in the mountains. At no point in the movie is it ever mentioned that it's entirely Clone Girl's fault that the world is overrun with man-eating dinosaurs. Actually, the fact that there's dinosaurs running loose all over the world is barely even touched upon by the movie. I mean, there's a few scenes here and there where we see them, so they could put them in the trailer, but they have almost nothing to do with the plot aside from Blue and her son, Beta, running around the frozen tundra where a hairless dinosaur probably shouldn't be able to survive. Speaking of which, Blue and Beta are hanging out in the woods, coincidentally just outside the cabin where Owen, Claire, and Clone Girl are hiding, and this is convenient for the plot. See, Evil Incorporated created these bioengineered giant locusts, which eat everything except for the bioengineered seeds which their company makes. Their plan is to use the locusts to destroy all the crops except for those grown with their bioengineered seeds, so they can monopolize the world's food supply. But it turns out they can't control the locusts, so now they have to find a way to kill them before the world finds out what they've been up to. Fortunately, Clone Girl and Beta both have something in their DNA which would make it possible to engineer a virus which will kill the locusts. So it's really convenient that Clone Girl and Beta just happen to live right next to each other, and the poachers Evil Incorporated hired to kidnap both of them can get both of them at the same time. So of course that's what happens, and now Owen and Claire have to go rescue them, because getting someone's DNA requires you to kidnap them, I guess. Couldn't they just sneak into the cabin when no one's home and steal a tampon out of the garbage can or something? But then we wouldn't have a movie, and they couldn't have possibly written it so that something else happened. Here's an idea. What if instead of needing her DNA, Evil Incorporated needed to extract tissue from Clone Girl's brain, and doing so would kill her? That's a better reason to kidnap her, and it would have raised the stakes because now Owen and Claire have to find her before she dies. But I guess that would make too much sense. Anyway, Owen and Claire talk to the annoying guy from the previous movie, who I guess works for the CIA now, and finds out the poacher who Evil Incorporated hired to kidnap Clone Girl is a generic desert country stan. So they go there and end up in some kind of dinosaur black market. There's a part where a character mentions the dinosaurs in the black market are sold to buyers in Northern Africa, the Middle East, and so on, but the movie needed to get distribution in China, so the filmmakers were careful to make sure they didn't mention China, where T-Rex testicles would be sold as a traditional cure for erectile dysfunction or something. There's this one dumb moment where the CIA shows up and busts the black market dinosaur traders, so minor villain releases the raptors and the CIA guys just stand there looking at them instead of immediately shooting, so they get mauled. And this movie brings back that idiotic thing from Fallen Kingdom with the laser that you point at people and it makes the raptors attack them. At least this time, the laser is attached to a gun you can just shoot the target with, since you have to aim it at them anyway. And there might be something I'm not remembering, but I think the CIA sting operation just happens at the same time Owen and Claire happen to be there by pure coincidence, just as an excuse to have an action scene. So a bunch of dinosaurs get released from their cages and start killing everyone, and there's this moment where Owen gets in a fight with Poacher Guy and they fall into the pit where they hold the illegal underground dinosaur fights, and all these black market guys just watch and cheer them on, completely oblivious to the fact that there are dinosaurs running around killing people. There's literally a shot where you see the black market guys cheering in the foreground while a guy is getting eaten by an Allosaurus in the background maybe 30 feet away, and they don't notice all the screaming and gunshots. Poacher Guy gets eaten by dinosaurs, and Owen and Claire find out Clone Girl and Beta were taken to Evil Incorporated's compound somewhere in the mountains of Italy, I think. And the compound is in the middle of a big valley full of dinosaurs which Evil Incorporated keeps around for pharmaceutical research or something. I don't remember if this has anything at all to do with the Locust plot, so it's like they're just there because this is a dinosaur movie, and they gotta have dinosaurs regardless of the in-universe justification. So Owen and Claire team up with Pilot Lady, and they fly to the compound, but then the plane gets attacked by a Quetzalcoatlus, and Claire's seat is the only seat that can eject, so she ejects and ends up stuck in the valley with the dinosaurs, while Owen and Pilot Lady survive a plane crash. So now Owen and Pilot Lady have to go find Claire in the woods. Now, while that's happening, Scientist Guy from the earlier movies tells Clone Girl why they need her DNA, and then she escapes with Beta because he just left the key on the table. No, really, he just leaves the key there. The movie tells us Clone Girl is supposed to be some kind of super genius or something, but she doesn't do anything clever or crafty to escape. Instead, this super smart scientist guy just leaves a key on the table in the room they're keeping Clone Girl in, so she just walks out the door. Like, what? So anyway, Claire wakes up hanging from a tree, and this big dinosaur with long claws walks by. It's called a Therizinosaurus, but that's hard to say, so I'm just going to call it Salad Fingersaurus. It turns out Salad Fingersaurus is actually an herbivore, so it stomps over to this deer that's just minding its own business eating some plant. I guess Salad Fingersaurus can't just eat any of the millions of other plants nearby, so it bitch slaps the deer away, killing it, so it can eat that one very special plant. So the deer just kind of stands there while a 2-story tall dinosaur with huge claws comes stomping up to it. Now, I don't remember the exact order of events, but Owen and Pilot Lady eventually find Claire and end up in the compound, and Dr. Grant and Blonde Lady from the first Jurassic Park also go to the Evil Incorporated compound because Jeff Goldblum works there for some reason, and he told them about Evil Incorporated's evil plan. So they just want to go there to get a locust DNA sample to prove Evil Incorporated made the locusts. They break into this big tank full of locusts and steal a DNA sample, and then they run into the Clone Girl and team up. Now, it's just by coincidence that Dr. Grant and Blonde Lady are there at the same time that Owen, Claire, Clone Girl, and Pilot Lady are there. So we get to have a big meetup between the cast of the old movies and the new movies for double the marketability. The gang escape into the tunnels below the compound and out into the forest where they get attacked by the new, bigger, scarier dinosaur every Jurassic Park sequel needs to introduce, and they fight it off by sticking a taser in its eye. The bad guy who runs Evil Incorporated realizes his cover's blown, so he tries to burn the locusts in the tank to destroy the evidence, but then, by pure happenstance, the flaming locusts escape through a vent and start a forest fire, so Evil Incorporated uses the brain implants to call all the dinosaurs back to the compound. Yeah, all the dinosaurs in the valley have brain implants, so Evil Incorporated can basically mind control them. So even though they just fled from the compound, I guess the gang has to go back to the compound to get a plane they can escape in. But then the big dinosaur shows up, but then the Tyrannosaurus, who appeared in exactly one scene earlier, shows up at the same time, and they fight. And just as it looks like the big dinosaur is about to win, Salad Fingersaurus teams up with the Tyrannosaurus, and they kill it. Really, the Tyrannosaurus and the Salad Fingersaurus just kind of team up even though these dumb animals have no reason to trust each other or help each other. It's like something an 8-year-old would come up with, but the movie has to end with a big dinosaur fight, I guess. So even though the dinosaurs in the valley have implants in their brains which Evil Incorporated uses to make them gather in the compound in the event of an emergency, the implants evidently don't stop the dinosaurs from fighting. I guess they didn't think that one through. I mean, if you can use mind control implants to make the dinosaurs attack people when you shine a laser pointer at them and gather all in one place during emergencies, why wouldn't you also use mind control to stop them from killing each other? Or from killing people, for that matter? You're watching movies wrong. You're not supposed to think about it or expect internal consistency or basic logic. You're just supposed to consume the product and let it wash over you so you forget about it the instant it's over, like the McNuggets you ate the night before. That's what movies are now. Anyway, the gang escapes, and we get an epilogue where the UN decides mankind has to coexist with the dinosaurs even though, realistically, every world's government would recognize the dinosaurs as an invasive species and try to exterminate them. But the movie has to end on whimsical shots of dinosaurs roaming with elephants. So the movie just kind of ends without addressing the fact that there are giant man-eating lizards everywhere now. Something I noticed is that they never show any dinosaurs dying, at least until the ends when the Tyrannosaurus and styled Fingersaurus team up to kill the big dinosaur. There are scenes where people shoot at them, but we never see anyone successfully kill one. There's a part where a raptor falls out of a plane, but they make a point to show it landing in water, so you don't know if it died. So we barely see any dinosaurs die, almost as if the movie is trying to avoid it for some reason. And come to think of it, there's also very little gore in this movie compared to the previous ones. Actually, I don't remember there being any blood at all. It's really toned down for mass appeal. I guess you can't make it too scary for the kids when you have toys to sell. You know, something that's always bothered me about Jurassic Park as a franchise is the way the plot contradicts the theme. The idea that life always finds a way. No, life doesn't always find a way. That's why the dinosaurs went extinct in the first place, and they only came back because man played God. Actually, the dinosaurs didn't really go extinct because technically birds are dinosaurs, so... Then the sequels try to play up the notion that the dinosaurs are these majestic creatures of nature that humans shouldn't mess with and should coexist with, but there's nothing natural about them. Within the context of this franchise, the dinosaurs are basically artificial Frankenstein monsters. I think Jeff Goldblum even said in the first movie that nature selected for them to go extinct.
Dinosaurs had their shot, and nature selected them for extinction.
And them coming back is the product of man-made bioengineering technology in defiance of nature. And the entire plot of this movie in particular concerns eradicating bioengineered locusts. Do the locusts not have the same right to exist as the bioengineered dinosaurs? Wow, the locusts are an existential threat. Then maybe they shouldn't have been written into a movie about respecting life. I mean, the entire conceit of the last two movies is that the dinosaurs are so dangerous that they can be weaponized by the military, which is itself a stupid idea for a whole host of reasons I won't get into. And yet, we should respect their right to exist as a part of nature, even though there's nothing natural about them. So why does this logic not extend to the locusts? You can't make a movie with themes about man being forced to coexist with one of his abominable creations because of some twisted backwards notion about respecting nature, but then make the plot centered around exterminating another one of his abominable creations, which is equally natural, which is to say, not at all. That's a contradiction. Okay, I guess that's all I have to say about Jurassic World Dominion. Like this video, support me on Patreon, and leave a comment because the algorithm likes it. Bye.